It was October 20th, 2018. Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul had just turned the second game of the NBA season into a pay-per-view fight at Staples Center. Rondo allegedly spit over 10 years of hatred directly into Paul's face. Punches flew, grown men were held back from each other, and Brandon Ingram did his best Jermaine O'Neal impersonation with a running haymaker. With over 20 years of NBA experience between the two, it begs the question, just what started this beef? Well, rumor has it that the feud started back in the summer of 2008, when Team USA was gearing up to redeem themselves after a shameful bronze medal in 2004. Rondo was coming off the best year of his life. Fresh off an NBA championship in his second year as a pro, he received an invitation to Team USA's basketball tryout. But not as an option for the real team, as a player that would scrimmage the final roster, a roster that Paul was a major part of. To make matters worse, Kirk Heinrich, Adam Morrison, and Luke Ridnour received real invitations over Rondo. Remember, in 2007, the Celtics added Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett. Their win total increased from 24 to 66, with an NBA title to show for it, something that is still on Chris Paul's to-do list. The beef between these two was mild until 2009, when it spilled over in a Celtics-Hornets game. The two were tangled up, jostling for position. They were both given technical fouls, and Rondo emphatically dropped in, "I have a ring, and you're never going to win one," to Paul. It was later reported that Paul tried to invade the Celtics locker room after the game in an attempt to confront Rondo, but Paul denies the story. After the incident died down, Rondo and Celtics PR asked the media to never ask about Paul again. The two were constantly being compared. Chris Paul was the Rookie of the Year with first-team honors under his belt, and it clearly bothered Rondo that his individual accolades didn't match up. In 2011, Rondo's worst nightmare became a reality. He was being included in trade talks for Paul. The Hornets were a disaster, and Paul wanted out. The Celtics were viewed as a likely trade destination, and Celtics GM Danny Ainge was reportedly more than willing to part ways with Rondo in the deal. Eventually, trade talks ended when Paul refused to commit to a long-term deal with Boston. While Rondo said nothing publicly about his inclusion in the deal, you can only imagine the anger it stirred up inside. Paul would later go on to be dealt to the Clippers, after David Stern infamously vetoed his trade to the Lakers. A few years later, Rondo's coach Doc Rivers would be dealt to the Clippers as well, only furthering comparisons between the two. After 2011, the beef simmered down. Rondo bounced from team to team, and the two would even shake hands before the games. It wasn't until 2017 when the beef picked up steam again. Rondo, who was out with an injury, received a technical foul from the bench for jawing at Paul, who was in his first year with the Rockets. No one was quite sure what to make of this, other than despite the handshakes, we know these two despise each other. Then came the 2018 season, and of course, the beef was not reignited, but it erupted. So what exactly is the reasoning behind the Paul-Rondo beef? There's jealousy on both ends. Paul is envious over the fact that Rondo has a ring and he doesn't, and Rondo can't stomach the idea that Paul has always been viewed as a better point guard. Both of these guys are ruthless on the court and take their craft very seriously. It's only natural they would butt heads. Whatever the case may be, it's phenomenal basketball when these two match up, and something tells me there won't be any more pre-game pleasantries.